Good evening, entrepreneurs and visionaries. Welcome to another Monday Night Live training where your journey to business success accelerates. Join us for insights, strategies, and tools to elevate your business while keeping your budget in mind. It's time to transform your passion into profit. Your host, Corey von Bill Foster, is about to take the stage. Get ready to be inspired and empowered. The future of your business starts now. Good evening, entrepreneurs and visionaries. Welcome to another Monday Night Live training where your journey to business success accelerates. Join us for insights, strategies, and tools to elevate your business while keeping your budget in mind. It's time to transform your passion into profit. Your host, Corey von Bill Foster, is about to take the stage. Get ready to be inspired and empowered. The future of your business starts now.
All right, people, hold on one moment. Let's try to get this camera working. Give me 1 second. See what's happening. I had a camera, I promise. Let's see here. All right, there we go. See, sometimes we just got to play around with buttons till we get it right. But hi, guys. Welcome to another Monday Night Live. I'm your host, Corey von Bill Foster. Welcome to the building. I'm just super excited that we have made it to yet another Monday. Can you guys believe this is the last Monday in October? Wow, October went by fast. I have been saying all year that I felt like the year was like slowly kind of trickling on. It was just like slowly kind of moseying about. But October was a whirlwind. It came and it went, and I'm not mad at it. I know I'm not the only one. Like, I am not mad at it. Like, I'm trying to make my hat look kind of cute, y'all. Some bad hair day, bear with me. But I'm still happy that we were able to be here together, to learn together, to grow together. And also shout outs to one of my clients, Cheryl Poe. She had an event this past weekend. I feel like I'm still kind of coming off that high. She had an amazing event. It was about 1 to 2 years in the making. And she did a fabulous job. She hosted an event in Norfolk, Virginia. Norfolk Virginia. I had to think what city we were in. And it was absolutely fabulous. She had done a research project. She had partnered with Howard University, all about finding out what the needs of Black children who were in the special education system, like what their needs were, what their families' needs were, and to hear the research kind of finally be laid out on the table. A lot of people, I think, when we talk about Black issues, they always ask, like, why is this about color? Why is this about race? And to hear the data, not emotions, not subjective information, but hearing the data of what these families had gone through, to find these correlations, to look at it versus their white counterparts. It was amazing to hear from the amazing speakers, the parent panels, the research team. It was a fabulous event. So shout out Cheryl for doing an amazing job, and for really not only being a business owner, right? Because that's most of my clients are business owners, but for also caring about her community so much so that she, took all this time and energy into this research project. So kudos to her. And this is only, I wouldn't say the beginning, this is only the middle, right? She's been doing this thing for some years, but she's about to unveil another project, which is just going to provide just an extra level of support for these families. So shout outs to her. All right, now that I said that, let me go back to the regular script here. But if you're new here, every single Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do these Monday Night Lives. It's a chance for us to kind of just hang out and talk about topics that are relevant to you and your business. There are so many things that we as business owners need to be thinking about, right? And so instead of having huge conversations and huge workshops and things like that all the time, I love that we can kind of take, 20, 30 minutes out of our week and learn about a new topic, deep dive, understand how it impacts our business, and come up with a plan to implement it or to better it or to optimize it within our business. So this month we've been talking about lead generation. And so today we are going to talk about kind of lead generation without having to pay for ads. And I think this is a perfect time to talk about this topic because, the holidays are about to come up. And if you've never ran ads before, just so you know, look, word to the wise, the prices of clicks does go up around the season because you're having to fight with everyone else who wants to run ads to your audience as well. And so we have to be smart. When you are the small dog on the yard, you have to be able to think creatively about how you can still engage with potential clients. And so we're going to talk a little bit about some organic strategies, some non-paid strategies for still getting leads in this holiday season. And these aren't just for the holiday season, but especially for right now. If you don't have tons of funds for ads and you still want to make a big splash, I promise you organic traffic is not dead. Yes, it may take a little bit more legwork. Yes, it may take a little bit more creativity, but if you are ready to do business, you can get it done. But before we dive in, I always like to kind of formally introduce myself. Again, I'm Corey Fonville Foster. I'm a speaker, I'm a trainer, I'm a certified business coach specializing in business implementation. So that is helping business owners get things done in their business. So we don't sit here and worry about theory. We don't sit here and worry about feelings and circumstances. We say, what is the goal? How do we get there? Let's get it done. And outside of that, I'm also the CEO of iRock Marketable Business Solutions, which is a small business marketing firm based out of Virginia, but services clients all over the country. And so we do that through done-for-you services like websites, logos, email marketing, social media management, VA services, and more. So let's go ahead and dive into the topic again. It's lead generation without thinking about paid ads. And tonight we're going to kind of cover 3 areas when it comes to this, because I think it's just kind of easier to digest if we know, what our points are. So let me adjust my screen here, and then we are going to dive in. And if you are watching, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, feel free to comment. I won't be able to address them as I'm going today, but I will promise I will go back and respond to any comments, questions, or concerns when we finish and wrap up for this presentation. All righty. Let me just make one adjustment here, and then we can get started. Dun, 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 dun. All right. There we go. I needed to bold that. I was like, I cannot see my notes. All right, here. So the 3 things we're going to talk about is I want to show you how to generate consistent leads without relying on ads. And if you think I'm joking, most of the time that we've been in business, which has been, I think, almost 7 years at this point, if not longer, most of that time we didn't run ads. We did not start running ads until this year, right? So that's full transparency. This year was our first time running ads. So we were able to have a business, grow a business, add team members, add tools and systems, all with organic marketing, right? My goal is to teach you how to use content, connection, and consistency to still nurture and engage with your audience. And then also want to help you implement some low-cost strategies to use, depending on what platforms you are trying to connect with your audience on. So first of all, again, just in case you're new to business, organic versus paid ads. Paid ads could be Facebook ads, it could be TikTok ads, YouTube ads, Google ads, and anything else in between. That is when you, as the business owner, are paying a platform to make your content more visible, right? A lot of times, if you're looking at Facebook, you'll see sponsored, right? You know, like, oh, this is an ad, it's sponsored content. It doesn't mean that it's less valuable. It just means that you have paid to get it in front of someone versus it just kind of happenstance, like happening for you to just, you know, pop up on their like For You page, right? If you're on TikTok. So yes, you can use paid ads. I'm not saying you can't. But like I said, for those of you who really want to optimize your organic marketing, or you just don't have funds for ads, I want you to understand that you can generate consistent leads without it. And we've been talking this month a lot about lead magnets, right? So we'll talk a little bit more about that. And for those of you who are new to the lead magnet world, a lead magnet is essentially a tool that you use to get visible in front of your audience. In exchange for you giving them some type of value, they will give you their contact information. That could be a webinar, it could be a challenge, it could be a PDF, it could be a chapter of your book, it could be an ebook, it could be a white page. But essentially, you are giving them something in the hopes that it will give them a win. It will solve a little problem they have. It will help them with the challenge they're facing. In exchange, they are going to be willing to give you their name, their email address, and hopefully their phone number so that you can kind of pull them off of whatever platform they're on into your ecosystem, right? Into your email list, into your funnel, right? Into your client journey. And so that's kind of step one that I always suggest for my clients. If you don't have at least one lead magnet that can help your clients see you as the thought leader that you are, as the expert that you are, then that's step one. Figure out what's going to work best for you. For coaches and consultants, I love suggesting webinars. Second choice would probably be, like, if you're not super tech savvy, you really need to get something quick, a PDF kind of workbook or guide is nice. I am not a fan of white pages or infographics or even demos for the most part, because while they can showcase a little bit, they tend to not give anybody a win, right? You're giving them exposure to some information, but most people are not going to find value in that per se. And so it doesn't always lead people to want to give you their information in exchange. I'm also not a big fan of like newsletters, because who on earth wants to sign up for another newsletter? Like, you think it's cool, like, oh, I'm gonna give them some value in a newsletter, but the thought of the word newsletter makes people be like, nah, I'm good. So think of creative things that you can do. Like I said, webinars are really powerful tools, because not only are people willing to give you their name, email address, and phone number for them, but because you have a little bit more time, whether it's live or if it's evergreen, you're able to showcase yourself. You're able to show testimonials. You're able to teach, right? So people get to see that you're an expert. They get to see your vibe and how you help people. They get to see it for themselves. They get to have that win, and then they get to hear you tell them what step to take next. I find that this is a pretty great tool for most coaches and consultants, and it isn't a high investment point versus doing something like a challenge where you, as the CEO, are investing a lot more time. Challenges usually are 3 to 7 days, right? Some are even like 30 days long. That means you have to be present. That means you have to be consistent over that time period. Not saying it's not a great tool. It's just that for a lot of you, that might be a big ask. So webinars are great. It's kind of a middle ground. You're still showing a lot of value, and you can move people forward, and the conversions are pretty decent compared to some alternative lead magnet strategies. Now, you don't have to just rely on lead magnets, even though that's been what we've talked about most of this month. You also can literally just be better with your content, right? So you want to get in front of more people, post more. So are you on multiple platforms right now, or are you on one? We just had an event about the weekend before last, and I love when people come up and they speak about the fact that you don't have to be on every platform. That's absolutely true. That is such great sound advice for those who struggle to be consistent. But if you're ready to level up your game, right, because your goal is to get more leads, then hey, you may be able to catch people on more platforms, same content, just on different platforms. So if you're already posting reels on Instagram, post those suckers on TikTok, post them on YouTube, right? And now you're able to get in front of more audiences. I think a lot of people think, well, if it's on one platform, they'll see it there. It's not always the case. Some people really enjoy one or two platforms, and even if they have a page, right, or a profile on a different platform, they might not be there. I have a Pinterest profile, I guess you could call it. I don't even know what it's called. I don't be on Pinterest. I have a Threads account. I don't even post there. I never go up there. Like, I'm not gonna say never, but most of the time I'm not going on Threads. I have a TikTok, not a TikTok, but a Twitter. I absolutely never go on Twitter, right? So if that's the places that you're posting, I'm probably not going to be there, even if my profile is there, right? But if you post that same content on LinkedIn, or if you post it on Facebook or Instagram, I may see it and actually engage with it. So the first step is, if it is in your capacity, go ahead and post on more than one platform. And a lot of that issue of capacity can be solved with having a scheduling tool, right? I am not of the thought that every platform has to have different content. Yes, some content is more tailored to a specific platform. Like, obviously TikTok is going to be more of your video content. Same with YouTube, same with Instagram. Instagram is also great for pictures. Facebook is like pictures and text. LinkedIn is text and a little bit of pictures. You know what I mean? So different platforms, cater to more, cater to their kind of specific type of content. But guys, put it up there. Put it up there. We really teach our clients, like, put that content on all the platforms, and at least it's there. And of course, you can add more of that platform specific type content if you wish, but at least you're on these platforms and you actually have the visibility. So that's kind of my first kind of go-to after lead magnets, is just up the content. I have some clients who really struggle to post more than 3 times a week. And I think that just is a mindset thing where they don't want to, I'm gonna put it in quotes, to bother their target audience. They don't want to spam, I'm gonna put it in quotes again, their audience. But the reality is, and unless somebody is like your mom or maybe your child, they're probably not seeing everything that you post, right? We love you guys, but we're not seeing every piece of content you post. So you're thinking in your mind, oh my God, if I post 3 times a week, then they're having to see the same kind of content 3 times a week. When in reality, they may not have seen it at all, because your 3 pieces of content are in a scroll of thousands every time they go online. And so upping your content will up your visibility without having to pay a dime, right? Without having to invest in ads, just up the content. And still make sure it's great content, but up the content. Secondly, make sure you're actually trying to connect with individuals, right? So some of you are just kind of helping people happen upon your website, things like that. But sometimes you got to go find folks, right? I love Facebook because it has the Facebook groups. And so there are already curated groups of people who need what you have, who are talking about the challenges that you help people solve, right? You need to go in there. You need to have conversations with them, right? I had a client who was a tutor once. I was like, why are you not going into groups where parents are that are, talking about their kids, talking about their parenting, homeschool groups, things like that, where people are saying, oh my gosh, my child is really struggling in math. I wish I knew a math tutor. And you're a math tutor. But unfortunately, you never hear that conversation if you don't get in these groups. So find groups on whatever platform and then see about actually engaging in the groups. And I'm not saying you have to be posting every day, but be in there, post every blue moon, but pay attention to what people are saying. And don't be afraid to comment or to DM those individuals and say, hey, I saw you posted XYZ. I'm not trying to push, anything on you, but I think I may be able to support you. Here is, my information. Here is a freebie or what have you. And again, I know this takes work, but business takes work. And if you don't have, and I tell people this all the time, business takes time and or money. So if you do not have money, you may need to invest more time. But guess what? You can also create SOPs and guidelines for your team to go in here and engage as well on these platforms on your behalf, if you have that capacity. But definitely connect with your audience. And it doesn't have to be all online. networking events are a great place to connect with your audience. I have a client now who does several networking events every month because she knows her audience is very busy. They're very high level executives. They're not always on social media engaging in, content, but they are at these networking events because they can find new clients. They can, do those, over at the bar kind of, handshake agreement type things. They're on the golf course. That's where she is. And so figure out where your clients are. And this is why it's so important to understand your client avatar and have a deep understanding of how they do business, where they find information so that you can be there, right? You want to be in those places. So like I said, make sure you're connecting, whether it's online or in person, because that also increases your visibility and oftentimes doesn't cost you a thing. In most big cities, there are networking events happening almost every day. Right. I'm not telling you to go out and network every day, but you can say, hey, if you ain't got kids, especially once a week, or a couple times a month, something, at least once a month, get out here and connect. If you serve a business community, for instance, go to some business conferences. You can schedule those ahead because a lot of times they're posted months and months in advance. You can say, all right, these are the 6 conferences I'm gonna hit up this year, these big conferences. And then maybe there's a few local conferences you're gonna go to as well. And now for networking kind of how you're going to connect with potential clients and then bring them again into your ecosystem. And truth be told, whatever you're doing, just make sure you're consistent at it. So if you're going to be posting more, be consistent at that. If you're going to be engaging in the communities, be consistent at that. If you're going to do networking events, again, plan for those and be consistent at that as well. And just make sure you have a plan for not only being visible, not only engaging, but also following up, right? And I'll be very honest, I had a hard talk with myself recently and said, we got to do better about the follow up because I like a networking event, but it's by far my worst conversion rate when it comes to clients because I suck at following up. I have great conversations. I'll get the business cards and I'll do all the things and I'm like, I forgot to, follow up immediately. So, and there are tricks to that trade. It's just, again, as a business owner, you're always trying to better different parts of your business. And I realize that in this area of my life and this time in my business journey, I need to tighten up on that. So look at that. Make sure that you're not just going out here having great conversations, right? Whether they're online or in person, but you're also thinking about what is the goal of these conversations? Do I have a plan in place to not only have a great conversation, but also create some engagement, some rapport, and then do I have a way to follow up with them? Because if not, you're wasting your time, right? And the same thing, like I said, if you're in the groups, how do you move them from, oh, they did a post and you commented to then getting on a call with them? Make sure you're thinking those kinds of things through. And again, I admit to you, this is work intensive, right? This is work, but business is work. And if you don't have time, if you don't have money, you must have time. Something else you can do is, of course, email, right? So maybe people are already in your ecosystem, but you have new launches, new products, what have you. Instead of running an ad for that launch, if you don't have the funds, you can email the audience you already have. And I would suggest you not just email them once, because that's another thing. People are like, well, I emailed them once or twice. Did they see those emails? Right? For most people, right, in business, open rates are less than 20%. Right? So out of all the people that you have in your email list, less than 20% of those people ever saw the email. Right. So sometimes we have to be repetitive, right, with with our strategies. We have to send it more than once. And again, stop thinking you're annoying someone. Oftentimes for me, just as a buyer, I got to see stuff a couple times, right? Because I'm one of the people that's like, well, Lord, if you show it to me again, I guess I'll get it. I guess it's for me. Right. And so it's just like a reminder, because I'm like, the first time I'm like, okay, I saw it, but maybe not right now. Saw it again. Oh, that do look good. Let me look into a little more. Let me go to the landing page. I'm still not ready. See it again. All right, Lord, you know what? If you show it to me one more time, I'm going to get it. That 4th time, they've sold me. But if they only emailed once, I would have never bought the product, right? And the same happens online. I'll see somebody once and I'm like, okay, see them again. I'm like, well, maybe they do seem cool, but I don't know. I'm already following a lot of people. I see them again. They be out here. I'm going to follow them. Right? Still haven't bought anything. I see them again. I really like this person. oh, what do they sell? Now I'm searching, right? I'm trying to buy something. But again, I would have never gotten to that point had they only did something once. So make sure you're emailing also consistently when you have launches. I will say be cautious that you're not always just selling or promoting some kind of product or event. I always like to say 80% of the time give value, 20% of the time you could be selling. So 80 to 20% should be kind of the ratio. Yes, that's the right word. Same with your content online. 80% value, 20% direct sales. And I'm not saying that you can't sell with giving value, but a direct email or post that is sales needs to be, just like I said, about 20% compared to the value that you're bringing, because no one likes to be sold to all the time. So we got email, we got social media. I think I talked about DMs. If not, DMing is great. So direct DMs. That's direct messaging for some of you who are not familiar with it. You can also engage with people directly through that, right? You don't know their email address, but you know your target audience, say on LinkedIn. You're looking for maybe people in the financial industry. You can see by what people put as their job, they're in the financial industry. You can send them a direct message. You can send them a connection request, let them know who you are. Then you can send them a message to start building that relationship, building that rapport, and then invite them to take a next action. Don't be afraid. I think that we have to really remember to switch our mindset as CEOs to being about value, to being about giving help to others. A lot of you are so afraid of the word sales because you're like, oh, I don't want to be salesy, right? But selling is service. There are people who need what you have, but the only way for them to know that you have the solution that they're looking for is if you tell them. And sometimes you got to tell them more than once, because sometimes they're just busy. Sometimes they do not see it. Sometimes it's not the right time. So be consistent. You don't have to be pushy, but put it out there so that they have the opportunity to get the support they need from you, right? From your expertise. Because I have so many people that get mad when somebody in their industry who's not as good as them does well. They get a sale, they get a speaking gig, they get whatever. And they're like, I should have got that because I'm way better than them. Probably. But guess what? They're out here beating the pavement. And that's why they got the sale over you. That's why they got the speaking gig over you. Because they're out here making connections and pushing their business forward. And you're over here worrying about bothering somebody. Okay? So sometimes we have to be honest about why our businesses aren't growing the way we want them to be. And that's because we're not putting ourselves out there. All right. So again, you're going to be thinking about content, increasing that. You're going to be thinking about building connections. And then whatever you're doing, you're going to be consistent. Okay. So those are just a few strategies outside of just lead magnets that can be organic marketing for you and your business. Now, on top of that, there's a few more I just want to kind of throw at you. We're not going to talk about them in super detail, but getting on other stages, right? So in order to get visible, you can create your own audience. You build, borrow, buy. So you can build it yourself. You can borrow somebody else's audience, or you can buy it, right? So we already said we're trying to not have to pay any money. So being on someone else's stage, right? You can speak at someone else's event, whether it's in person or virtual. You can appear on someone's podcast. You can appear in someone else's magazine or newspaper. You can also appear in somebody else's course, on somebody else's socials, right? People will share your content. Start thinking like, how can I partner with other people and get on their stages? There was an opportunity that I got this year in Maryland, and it literally came from me seeing this individual do an event last year, same event, and me saying, hey, if you do it again, I'd love to be a part. And I just kept saying that every time I saw that person. And when their time came, they said, hey, you said if I did it again, you want to be a part. Here we go. And I was able to take part this year, right? And so sometimes you just have to put yourself out there and get on other people's stages. And a lot of times you'd be surprised. It costs you nothing, or it's low cost. Now, there are some opportunities that do have a coin attached, and you have to kind of use your best judgment on that. But there are plenty of free opportunities to get on someone else's stage. Now, if you are a newer entrepreneur or you haven't made those connections yet, you can also build your own stage, right? Period. You can have your own podcast. And if you were at our Implementation Lab Live, we talked about that. And the people who were there got an opportunity to be on someone else's podcast just for being a attendee at the event. So yeah, you can get on someone else's podcast, right? Or you can make your own. You can make your own. If you're like, well, I don't know about podcasts, you can create your own YouTube show. If you're watching this right now, you probably have a smartphone. You can record there, Zoom, and then there's all kind of streaming platforms where you can record as well. So you can post your videos on YouTube, right? So if you don't want your face there, there's other like non-face fronting shows that you can create as well. You don't have to wait for someone else to give you an opportunity. You can make your own. But you got to do something so that you can get visible, so that people know you have what they need. So make sure that you're also taking advantage of that. You can also build credibility and get in front of your audience by books, right? So some of you are like, I'm going to take December off. Take December off and write a book. And so that you have something to be able to have credibility, and you can be in front of people even when you're not in the room, whether it's on Amazon when they're looking for a certain topic, whether it's on Audible or Kindle, whether it's in the bookstore, whether you're selling it through somebody else's program, what have you. But that's another option as well. So hopefully we've covered a lot in this little bit of time. I don't even know what time it is right now. Let's look. Oh, we did good. It's been about 30 minutes or so. So hopefully you get an idea that, yes, you may have to put in a little bit more work. I get it. Yes, you may have to be a little creative with this. But guess what? Not having funds for ads, or not having tons of funds for ads, does not stop this train from going to the station. You have to decide how you can optimize what you already have access to, how you can build what is around you, and then take advantage of the opportunities as they come, so that you can get in front of your target audience and ensure that they understand that you are the go-to person to solve their problems. And if you're sitting here saying, easier said than done, I'm still lost, I need support, please reach out to me. That is why we are here. We are so passionate about entrepreneurs from any background, through any circumstance, being able to leverage their expertise to live the life of their dreams, right? Everyone who wants to be a business owner should be a business owner. And sometimes that means they need support. So please reach out, whether you need coaching and support that way, or whether you're like, hey, I'm ready to throw some coins at this and I need some done for you services. Either way, we are here for you because you do not want to end this year where you are right now. You want to be ready to grow to that next level. 2026 can be your best year yet, but it won't be if you continue to do the same things that you've been doing this year that haven't gotten you to where you want to go, right? You've already tried to do it alone. Let's just call it spade a spade. You've already tried to do it alone. You've already tried to do it with YouTube University. You've already tried to do it with a few blogs and, trying a little here, trying a little there, not being consistent. What would it look like if you had someone to really guide you along this entrepreneurship path? What if you could speak with somebody who has access to experts in all different industries? What would it look like to have tools, templates, guides, right? Somebody to bounce ideas off of, somebody to hold you accountable, right? And if you're saying, oh, that sounds great, please reach out so we can get you on a free call so we can move your business forward, because I promise you, you can get this thing done. You can have the business that you have been dreaming about and be able to make the impact that you were meant to make. But guys, that is it for tonight. Remember, we will be back here next Monday, right? First Monday in November, we'll be back. And we will have another Monday Night Live. Stay tuned. We got some fun things coming up as well that are going to help you in this year and prepare for 2026. I promise you, we're going to post about it. We're going to email you about it. We're going to do all the things I just told you to do. So definitely connect with us. Take advantage of all these opportunities. And we'll see you next time, guys. Remember, I rock, you rock, we all rock. Are you a service-based small business owner, juggling multiple roles and constantly racing against the clock? Make iRock Marketable Business Solution your trusted business partner in achieving business success. We understand the unique challenges you face in managing your business. That's why we offer a range of virtual assistant services tailored just for you. Our virtual assistants are skilled, dedicated, and ready to lighten your workload. Imagine having a partner who can handle your social media management, data entry, and travel plans. Picture a team that creates engaging video content for your audience. Think about never worrying about administrative tasks again. With iRock, you don't just save time, you gain peace of mind. Our virtual assistants are like an extension of your business, allowing you to focus on what you do best. Join the countless small business owners who have elevated their businesses with our VA services. Ready to take the next step towards business success? Discover how we can make your business journey smoother. Unlock the full potential of your business with iRock Marketable Business Solutions.